This is going to be just a little bit of a different video than what I normally do. And it has to deal with retirement and getting old, okay? But yesterday, I spent the day with my wife at the hospital, and she had a surgical procedure done. And anyways, she did pretty well with it. But now we're back at home, and she's got a long recovery ahead of her. But I got to thinking about marriage, okay, during that time and what it meant to me. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, just as a disclaimer, okay, I am not a marriage counselor, I'm not a clergyman. This video is my philosophy on marriage and how to survive a 40-year marriage. I'm just simply a man that has ideas on how to have a happy and productive life and stay married. Now, a lot of you will probably come up with the old sayings, happy wife, happy life. I think we've heard that one. Your wife is always correct and you are not. I think we've heard that one too. I don't believe I don't believe in that stuff. Okay, somewhat as I get to talking about this, how to survive a 40-year marriage, some of that will come into play. Those out of those two sayings. First, I'd like to give you just a little bit of background about me, okay, and my personality and how it was formed, okay. When I was growing up, I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house. Now, my grandmother was part Greek, and grandmother in Greek is Yaya. If y'all ever watched that My Big Fat Greek Wedding, that is true, okay. Anyways, if she were still alive today, she would tell you that she had me during my formative years. Like I said, I spent a lot of time at her house when I was young. My mother was kind of ill and I was very young. So she did have me during my formative years. And I think a lot of my personality, and let me explain that just a little bit, my caring uh, uh, type of personality came from her. Okay. She was a very kind lady. She never had a harsh word to speak about anybody, and she would not allow any foul language to be spoken in her house. So she was the kindest soul that I pretty much ever knew. And I think rightly so, a lot of that rubbed off on me. Okay. So, to answer the how to survive a 40-year marriage, okay, you have to ask yourself a question. How do you know that you have met the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with? No matter how long the courtship, you may never have a good idea if that person you're dating or engaged to is the right one for you. Okay. I think it's more of a gut feel myself. All right. I was married once before. My wife of 40 years now was married once before. When the two of us got together and got married, we were both 28. Okay. My marriage was for about a year. Hers was for a couple years. She had a child from her union. I did not. Um, but after that first failed attempt at marriage, I felt like that I had a lot of growing up to do and a lot to learn. So I think I was about 21, maybe, when I got married the first time. I think I was about 21. So I stayed single for about 6 or 7 years and took a lot of time to get my career based and, just kind of check the whole life thing out, and kind of make up my mind what I was going to do the rest of my life. Um, I think most men, okay, if you talk to their mothers or even their wives, most men really don't grow up until they're about 40 years old, okay? And I think that's pretty true. The number one cause of failed marriages is communications. And I learned this from my first marriage, okay? We did visit a marriage counselor. I mean, like I said, we was only married for 1 year. And that was one of the things that the marriage counselor brought up. I think number one was communications. Number two was finances. Okay. So being able to talk to each other about everything and not judging each other in the marriage is one way of being effective at communications. Okay, listening to each other when spoken to, and that's a big thing with anybody. Listening to other people. Okay, you don't know everything. All right. And you weren't put on this earth knowing everything, and you'll never will know it. So, I think sometimes we get caught up in our lives, we get caught up in our careers, and we don't listen to our partners. Okay. And I think it's important. And talking to each other is important. Um, One of the things I've always said, and one of the biggest keys to a long and happy marriage is you have to give more than you receive in the marriage. And that goes for both parties. That goes for you and your spouse. Okay. Uh, you need to give more of yourself than you receive from the other. And if you think about that for a minute and you do that, you practice that philosophy, then I think you will find that things are a lot easier. Now, the key to this working is both of you have to give more than you receive. Think about that for a minute, okay? Another thing to remember, silence is not golden, okay? Do not ignore each other. Don't get mad and then go pout about it and stew about it. It doesn't do any good. If you are having an argument or you think you're going to have something that's going to cause a little disruption in your marriage, it's best to go to the other room and cool off for a while. Okay. One of the things that I always learned about is never go to bed mad. Okay. Solve everything the day it happened and don't carry it on to the next day. And one other thing, probably the final thing I'll have to say, and this video is more geared towards common sense things. Okay, so this last thing is, and some of you may not understand this, but don't be a bully to each other. And what that means is, don't pick on each other. Don't cause disruption like that. It's not productive. It doesn't get you anywhere. And sometimes in a marriage, you might get in an argument or something where the other person may just keep badgering on you, what have you. That's what I consider bullying, almost like a high school bully. Okay. They just keep picking on you and they won't leave you alone. Okay. Anyways, this video was a lot for the younger people out there, how to survive a 40-year marriage. And I have a lot of experience at this, I feel like, to give. And I feel like I've been very successful with the philosophies I just gave you to succeed in a marriage. Always be kind to your spouse, okay, to each other. Just remember that you only have each other, okay? As we get older, our kids have gone off and gone different directions. We don't hear from them. The grandkids don't want to come see the grandparents anymore. So you really don't have anybody else but yourself. So just remember that, okay? Be kind to each other. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.